Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Nerds with Friends. My name is Cody Leach. As always, I'm joined by Christian Garcia.
Sup, this episode is brought to you by Liquid Death.
Ooh, Liquid Death now comes in green. Thank you everybody for stopping by to the podcast, listening, watching, however you enjoy us. You know, I've heard one fan of ours takes one of those AirPods and just shoves it up their butt.
Nice.
Isn't that cool?
It's because of the bass in our voices, the vibration.
Exactly. They love that one.
That was specifically for you.
That was for them. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about some toxic fandoms. We did an episode a long time ago about that, and you know, I think that it's good to bring that up again because of somewhat what the new Kenobi stars are dealing with.
What? Star Wars has toxic fans?
Yeah, you'd never think.
I wouldn't thought.
But, you know, apparently no one's safe from it, you know. But we figured we'd talk a little bit about that, kind of why we think maybe people would act that way, and then what we can maybe do about it as fans ourselves. So look forward to that after our break. Make sure you check out patreon.com/nerdswithfriends. A little, if you're on YouTube, the little thing is down there at the bottom, over here by Christian, I guess. And you can also check out nerdswithfriendspodcast.com. But the best way you can help this podcast is by just telling your friends, say, hey, I saw these two idiots who like to talk about subject matter that they know very little about. But at least it's a good time. So telling your friends is the best way you can help us out. But before we get into some toxic fandom, let's do some nerdy confessions where we confess the things that make us nerds. Christian, why don't you?
My nerdy confession
is
that I'm mad at myself that I didn't start watching.
That makes two of us.
I know, right?
I'm mad at you too. That's what I'm saying.
You're always mad at me. That I started. I didn't watch when it came out. Our Flag Means Death. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah,
it's so good.
Reese Darby, he's hilarious, man.
Is that the
That's
Steed Bonnet?
Yeah, he's Murray from Fly the Conchords.
Yeah, I never memorized the actors' name. I'm terrible with actors' names. But that show is fucking hilarious, and I should have known because Taika Waititi. Everything the dude touches is fucking gold.
I think New Zealand people are just naturally funny.
Yeah,
you know, they just they're so chill down there that they're just like, we can be funny.
Every Kiwi I've met in real life has been super cool.
Yeah,
and hilarious, but in super. Hey, dude, next time or anyone listening, next time you meet New Zealand person, say Kiwi time. If
Kiwi time?
Yeah, Kiwi time. So this
it's Kiwi time.
So I went to a friend his bachelor party in it wasn't Reno, but somewhere where there's a lake.
Lake Tahoe?
Maybe no, it wasn't Lake Tahoe. Somewhere else, like it's near
Minnesota, land of 1,000 lakes.
No, anyway, it doesn't matter.
10,000 lakes? Maybe it's 10,000 lakes. There's a lot of fucking lakes in Minnesota if you guys haven't been.
So he had friends from everywhere, and he had brought his friend over from New Zealand, and one other dude, because they all knew each other. I only knew the guy who was getting married, and one of them said, hey, Kiwi time, and the New Zealand guy was just kind of like smirked, and then he pulled his nuts out.
Whoa!
And anytime,
it's like a secret password?
And anytime one of us said Kiwi time, he'd do it. Every time.
Man.
We went to go play pool. We went out for drinks. We were playing pool. We had met some girls that were hilarious. They were awesome girls. And then I was just like, Kiwi time. I said it, and I was like, he's not gonna do it.
He's like, hey man, you know what time it is? Kiwi time.
And he did it. And he put it right next to where like the pocket where the girl was shooting. So she obviously saw it. She saw it, and I was like, this is it. This is where we get thrown out. Because I was like, I didn't think he was gonna do it. And they thought it was hilarious. And I think it was the accent. It had to have been.
Yeah,
guys with accents can get away with it.
If I did that, Christian.
Well, it wouldn't be Kiwi time. It'd be like, I don't know, fucking meatball time. I don't know.
God damn it. Racist. Because I'm Italian.
I was thinking American. I was like, wait, what do we have?
What do we have?
Baseball time? I don't know.
Yeah, like meatloaf time.
Meatloaf.
That's where you put your dick out.
Yeah, that's not going to be. It's not the same. But he did it, and these girls, they thought it was hilarious. And, and then,
oh, he's so cute and foreign.
Yeah, he didn't know we can't do that in America.
Yeah. Oh, God.
But that's not my nerdy confession. You completely fucking threw me off. No, it's an awesome show. Watch it. Yeah, it's related because of fucking Kiwis. Yeah, watch it. It's super fucking funny. You'll maybe lose
Our
my
Flag
fucking...
Means Death. Basically, Rhys Darby, who's a New Zealand comedian / actor who was in Fly the Conchords. He plays like this, like upper class British man who's
real person.
Who's a real person.
He's a real person.
Yeah, who decides he wants to go out and live the pirate life.
Yeah,
the pirate life was for him. And
hates blood, hates violence.
Yeah,
pays his crew.
Yeah,
gives them therapy.
I like the guy who plays Hodor is on his crew too, and then Taika Waititi plays Blackbeard.
Every character's hilarious. The Scottish dude's hilarious. Yeah. Jim.
Yeah, Silent Jim or whatever.
Yeah, all of them are fucking hilarious. Yeah. Have you seen the whole thing? I'm missing. I'm down to the last episode.
I think I need to watch like the last 2 or 3, something like that. I watched like 4 or 5 when I found out it came out.
And they finally okayed the second season. Nice. I was like, why wouldn't you okay that fucking show?
Like, well, it's one of those ones like I didn't hear about it until I opened up HBO Max or whatever. You know, like I feel like that's a problem with a lot of great shows, is they don't get the advertising budget that something like, you know, Game of Thrones gets, or, you know, the Rings of Power for Amazon or whatever, you know, which is a shame because a lot of times those smaller shows are the better shows. Yeah. Like, you know, you can't drive down the street in San Francisco without seeing, like, you know, there was a Moon Knight, you know, thing, or Kenobi, you know.
Which is weird because you know those shows are going to have a huge audience. Right. Like, it's basically that kind of show.
You should spend the advertising on shows that wouldn't get that much hype around them, you know. But hey, what do we know?
Like Taika Waititi fans are like, they're gonna love him to death, but like to open it up to new audiences, like for sure, it might
absolutely. And you know, fans of Fly the Conchords are very, you know, diehard fans too.
I wish that, you know, Jermaine would pop up. You know, he hasn't. Maybe next season, but
yeah, I would love a little cameo at least for them. They're like, you know, the two of them are just like pirate bards or something on an island.
I love the episode where they got caught by some natives. They never said the island. I'm assuming maybe it was Puerto Rico, but they caged up all the white people and they didn't. with the black pirate, and he had like a coconut rum. They made him a drink. He's like, "Hey, what's up, guys?"
What's up, guys? I know, that was a good one. So funny. Yeah, check that one out, guys. It is a good show. I can vouch for it as well. My nerdy confession. Related to miniature painting. My friend Pat, who's a good buddy of mine, we call him Handsome Pat because he is stunningly handsome. He's just more handsome than most other guys, you know what I mean? But I
thought the most handsome between us, I'm like, so it makes him about average, probably.
yeah, exactly. Very average.
Right in the middle road.
Middle of the road. But so when he was younger, apparently he had painted some miniatures and played a little bit of Warhammer. I don't know why he got out of it. But he was cleaning out.
He became handsome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's like, I like pussy.
Yeah, it's like,
oh, okay, Pat.
Be doing
Jesus
this.
Christ.
Oh, it's cool again, or it's cool now. All right, I can get back.
Yeah, I can get back into it. But he was cleaning out his old room or something from his parents' house, and basically he found a bunch of old Warhammer models from like, you know, early 2000s. He's also a child too. He's like younger than my sister. Which, I mean, it's not that childish, but it's like I hang out with this dude who's like 7-8 years younger than me.
It's cool.
It's weird. I mean, you hang out with me, so
yeah,
you're an old man.
I'm not that much fucking old.
You were born in like 1975. I heard.
There we go. Thank you. You made me younger than I actually am. Appreciate
it. And so he gave me these old models. So I got like 4 or 5 orc commandos that are made of metal, which is like what they used to be made of before they were plastic or resin or whatever.
How do you know they're not wearing underwear? I don't understand. It's a commando.
Get off of the show. But they are cool, and so I'm painting some up right now. Hopefully by the time I'm editing this video, I'll have a completed picture. If not, I'll show a, you know, work in progress picture.
A whip.
But yeah, painting metal is, I mean, it's really not that much different. but the putting together process is a little different. You have to like pin everything, so you screw in. You take a little hand drill and drill in and put a paper clip so they have something to grab onto and glue them together and stuff.
While you're painting it?
When you're assembling it to put it together.
Oh, God.
And then if you have any like, mold artifacts or whatever from, popping out of the mold, like lines and stuff, you can't use like little sandpaper. You have to use like a file and really smooth it out and stuff. So it's a little different. And when you're painting it, it's heavy as fuck. It's like a little... like a little brick of metal.
Don't you have a little clamp that holds it?
Yeah, I have a little handle, but it's like very top heavy, So, but yeah, it's cool, man. I do love painting some orcs. It's my first orc also that I've ever painted.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not normally into the Xeno scum.
That's what they're called.
The alien, yeah, any alien race. So in the world of 40K, Warhammer 40K. Basically it's Earth versus everybody, and like everyone, all humans hate any other species other than themselves.
Now we know
pretty accurate.
Now we know how to end racism.
Yeah,
we just hate everyone outside of Earth.
Yeah, exactly. It definitely brought people together on Earth. So, look at it that way. But they're like, oh, filthy greenskins. That's what they call orcs. And I'm like, it's a good thing this isn't real because that's racist. Real racist.
What's the N word for orc?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know what it would be. I mean, greenskin's pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's not good.
Yeah, it's not good. But one thing that's funny with orcs in 40K is they all have like the weird Cockney accent and stuff, and they're like goofy as fuck. And their whole deal is like they just love war. They call it wah because they just kind of roar. But whenever you see them depicted, they all have like these goofy accents. They're like, hey, look at these little Yumis, ain't it? And you're like, oh, fuck. And they just like...
I wasn't half bad, although, I'm terrible accent. I wasn't half bad.
Not bad. Hey, Rod. Hey, Rod. Look at these Yumis. We gonna chop their ripping heads off.
All right, see, next D&D game, you
do that for the entire thing. No, thank you. But yeah, it's fun. So thank you, Handsome Pat, for giving me those models. It's always fun to try something that you haven't done before. And painting orcs is definitely one of them. Here, I might actually have a. Here's a little work in progress that you can see.
Oh, I thought you were going to show me Handsome Pat.
I can show you that too.
Nice. Yeah, it's pretty good, man.
Pretty good. Yeah, he's all metal. Oh, there's a better picture of his face.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
The little guy on top must have been fucking difficult.
Yeah, he's going to be. Here's Handsome Pat, and that's my friend Joe grabbing his penis.
Did he ask for consent?
No.
Oh, that's the picture where you could tell he didn't ask for consent.
He got him back though. That's a little story in 4 pictures. Yeah. They like to drink, the two of them, quite a bit. That was at Trader Vic's where they invented the Mai Tai in Emeryville.
In my mind, I thought Trader Joe's. I'm like, guess it's cool to get a little buzz before shopping.
just get hammered. Hey, are these those simpler time beers? Let me get 30 of them.
Just some of that $2 chuck, you know?
Yeah, exactly. No, but fun fact is that the Mai Tai drink was invented in Oakland, or Emeryville, which is a little offshoot of Oakland. Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. At Trader Vic's. That's why in the song Werewolves of London by Warren Zevon, he's like drinking a pina colada at Trader Vic's, and his hair was perfect.
I fucking love that song.
It's so good.
The first time I heard it, I was like, this is goofy. I love it.
Werewolves of London. Yeah, so good. And then you watch, what was that movie with Tom Cruise? Color of Money.
I don't think I've seen that one.
You haven't seen that one when
No.
he plays pool with Paul Newman?
No.
Fuck yeah. Dude, that movie is awesome. You should definitely check it out because it's... Oh, God.
I also haven't seen Risky Business.
Oh, right. Risky Business, I can kind of take it or leave it. I mean, it was good and entertaining, but Color of Money is like the spiritual successor to the movie The Hustler, which was a Paul Newman movie.
Okay.
Back when Paul Newman was like super movie star, right?
Yeah, before he was making salad dressing and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Before he was relegated to being like the old man, the old wizened old man. But he played this pool hustler who would go around sharking people playing billiards. I don't know, it's
Thanks, Cody.
Not like he's not like doing Marco Polo in the pool. You know what I mean?
I don't think anyone was thinking that, Cody.
I just want to clarify. But and so that was a movie that he did. Color of Money is Tom Cruise, and it's the same sort of thing, but Paul Newman's like the old wizened pool shark guy.
So it's a
like,
sequel to it.
It's kind of, I don't know. I actually don't. I've never seen The Hustler. I just know about it, but I don't know if the character is the same name or not. But it's essentially like, oh, okay, he's doing the same thing. He's teaching him how to play pool and teaching him the ways of life. It's
What's
great.
the one where he's bartending? What's that?
Cocktails.
Okay.
Or Cocktail. I think it's just Cocktail. Doesn't matter. There might be an S at the end of it. But yeah,
I'm slowly realizing how little of fucking Tom Cruise movies I've seen.
Oh man, I love them so
I've
much.
seen Legend.
You seen
Top Gun.
Interview with a Vampire?
No, I haven't.
You never seen that?
No.
God damn, that's Tom Cruise and what's his name?
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt and a very young
Antonio Banderas.
What?
He was in it.
Yeah, he was in it. No, Kirsten Dunst is who I was thinking.
Okay.
She plays the little girl vampire who's like stuck being like 10 years old.
It's just like that movie came out when I was a kid, and like I was like, oh, two vampires being interviewed. It wasn't really my thing.
I mean, it's more than that. It's a vampire movie.
I guess.
That's kind of, whatever. I can explain. Interview.
I love vampire movies too. I don't know. It just seemed. I just remember like seeing like the trailer for it or commercials or whatever, and I was kind of like never really.
All right. Well, now you have a couple movies to watch. Alrighty. Well, we're going to take a quick little break. When we get back, we're going to be talking a little bit about some toxic fandom. So we'll be right back. And we're back. All right, Christian. So, you and I would consider ourselves pretty nerdy fans, obviously, right? That's why
I would say so. We have a fucking podcast.
Why
about
we started this show. We just I think 2 episodes ago was our 300th episode.
Nice. Did we win something?
No. Maybe we won some likes and subscribes and
Hopefully.
follows, from our listeners. But people on the internet suck. So I challenge you guys to like right now. And I'd say we've had some hot takes on various properties that have come out, right?
Sure. I like to think we had some great fucking ideas that people should adopt, and people have adopted.
Right, right. You know what's funny too is I was talking to my friend Alex, who was a previous guest on the show. We were playing Elden Ring together, and we were like, we should start like a consulting company who people like Lucasfilm, Marvel, Sony Pictures, Warner Brothers, they can send us the script and we'll give them the fan reaction to it.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
And like we'll give them like our optional rewrites and stuff. Like, look, you're going to piss everyone off if, if Batman says Martha and that's what stops him from killing Superman. You're going to piss a lot of people off. So instead, here's what we do. We see we see Superman saying like, tell my mother I'm okay or whatever, find my mother. And then you see him flash to the pearls getting shot in the back alley.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, so leave it to us to come up with that connection.
Yeah.
Don't say Martha. That's fucking stupid. Okay. So
it's not a bad idea, man.
Yeah, I know. You know what I mean? And because I think a problem with a lot of studios is that they are oblivious to fandom. They put their advertising out there and they're just like, wow, people are going to love Superman or Batman or Star Wars or whatever. And they're not as in tune. And the people who are in tune are people like Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, who are fans themselves and have elevated themselves to that position to actually make the content. So, but we're not talking about that. We're not talking about our upcoming consulting firm. What we are talking about is the idea that even though we love these movies, there are people out there who love the movies, but then something comes out that they don't agree with, and they decide to do things like send racist tweets. I don't do death threats, say vulgar things that make people quit social media. You know,
I just don't understand because so the actor that we're talking about, it's Moses
Ingram.
Yeah,
who plays Reva, or third sister.
Which I really like her character. I don't understand what. It's just pure racism. Like I don't get it. Like, but some people were trying to take angles of like, oh, like I think it was something along the lines like, you know, this character wouldn't do that. Like, what do you mean? It's a fucking new character. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
yeah, exactly. I think, you know, the problem is that, let's face it, a lot of nerds out there are not super socially acclimated. And so, you know, they maybe talk to people online like they would talk to their best friends who are, you know, like, oh, fucking Steve, he's a little, you know, a little out there, you know, and they don't realize that, like, you know, this actress, Moses, is like, this is a big deal for her, and she's only doing what the showrunner, directors, you know, want her to do. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's who's responsible for everything. Like, the director's job is to get the performance they want out of the actor. And so I've never understood attacking, you know, an actor, and for that matter, even the director. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know if it's like, I don't know if it's the nerds because they're like haven't been socialized. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't feel like there's toxic fandom in Star Trek, right? I mean,
there can be, and there has been more so with Star Trek Discovery, because of kind of how that show presents itself.
But it has nothing to do with race, I'm guessing.
Well, I mean, it has to do with, like, you know, sexual orientation, gender, and things like that.
See, but which is weird to me because wasn't the whole point of the show creator was like this utopian human society where everyone is accepted.
Right.
Like even when I started watching the Star Trek with Picard, like I was like, oh, there's a dude in like women's clothing.
Yes.
And I was like, oh wow,
dude
like
walking by in a dress.
Yeah.
Back in like 1987 or 86 or something.
Yeah, and I was like, that was totally not acceptable socially back then. But like I at least I'd never heard anyone talk about it. Like,
yeah. And I think, you know, people who do feel like that they need to like have this outburst about things like that. I think, you know, that wasn't their favorite part of Star Trek. They liked the space battles and Klingons fighting each other and stuff. You know, they didn't grasp the whole concept. And I will say, you know, I could be wrong, you know, but from my experience of the Star Trek fandom, I think it is much more rare in that sense.
Right.
You know, but it still exists. I think, you know, I've heard some, you know, I am not a fan of Star Trek Discovery, which is the most current series of Star Trek, though they just started a new one called Brave New Worlds, which is excellent if you ever get that Star Trek itch. But Discovery, I think, angered a lot of fans just because of it broke a lot of the key tenets of Star Trek. You know, like Star Trek never had a main character. You know what I mean?
Like, I felt like Picard was, well, I mean, for the most part, it is shared a lot.
Right. It's an ensemble cast. You know, everyone has their favorite. Like, you could be a Riker fan or a Picard fan or, you know, Geordi LaForge and Data or, you know, Worf or whoever. Deanna Troi or Beverly Crusher. Wesley Crusher. No one was a fan of Wesley Crusher. But I think, you know, I think that's a problem with that show. And look, I did not like that show, and I think that, and I'm upset with how they treated Star Trek. But at the same time, it's not my show to run, and I don't think it's any of the actors' fault. And even the showrunner Alex Kurtzman, who I think is not doing a very good job with Star Trek. Look, he got the job. That's not his fault. It's the studio executives decided he was the guy to do Star Trek. You know, if he makes a shitty show, I just don't watch it. You know, that's how I.
That's how Cody feels about Kennedy lady for Star Wars.
Oh, Kathleen Kennedy.
You give her a pass, right? Give her the okay.
Look, as much as I hate Kathleen Kennedy, I would never ever wish that she got hit by a train.
Okay,
or pushed down a flight of stairs.
That's fair.
Or thrown out of an airplane.
But if it had happened,
yeah, I mean, you know, if it had happened, tragedy, of course. But you know, you got to feel for her friends and family and stuff, right? You know, so I mean, would it be better for Star Wars? Who could say?
although Cody would say yes, but
Some would say yes, for sure, and I might be in that camp. But no, and I mean, I think, you know, it's, as a fan of any series, that's, you know, that's part of the fun of it, is shitting on people who do it wrong, right? But it's like, it's all in good fun. You know, I don't really want anything bad to happen to Kathleen Kennedy. I just think that some people don't know where the line is, and that's kind of where things, you know, go over that line and really get into the hate speech category. And I will say, I like that Ewan McGregor put out this, you know, I don't know if you saw his little video where he's like, dude, like, stop being a racist.
Yeah, he was just like, if you know, if this is the way you feel, you're not a true Star Wars fan.
Right, exactly. And I mean, you know, you look at Star Wars and look, admittedly, there wasn't a lot of black people in it, okay? There was Lando, and that was basically it.
You're
right. But
Lando was dope as fuck.
Lando was one of the best characters, for sure. But
this is why I don't get it. Like, if you're a Star Wars fan, did you not like Lando when he came out?
Right.
Like, I don't.
Or like literal other races, like freaking Chewbacca. You know, he's a different species, right?
I don't get it, because some people were saying, oh, because she's playing a strong female character. Like, so you didn't like Leia? Like, when in the originals, like,
a lot of people don't like this little Leia, but
why?
I don't understand. One thing that's very
you're right. I did see something that's saying like, oh, she wouldn't be that smart. It's like, why not?
Yeah, because she's a woman. She's intellectually inferior.
She's a princess. She has access to higher education.
Right. Well, here, you know, to give some context on, at least from what I've heard about people's complaints about Obi Wan, which it does seem to be very divided. Like, I don't know. I'm really enjoying it so far.
I'm really enjoying it. Yeah.
I know for a fact that in 2 episodes, I'm not going to get all of the show that I want. You know what I mean? Like, I want it, but they have mentioned that they are working on season 2 now because of the overwhelming reception of this. But I will say is that, you know, the show that I've seen so far, I've really enjoyed. I like Obi-Wan's character. I like the little girl playing Leia. I think it's a little too heavy on her story and her solving all the problems. But at the same time, I can see why they did it. You know what I mean?
The only thing that I could say someone might be bothered by, and I'd be like, okay, I guess I kind of get it, is that she's obviously showing signs that she's force sensitive.
Right.
And no one's really been picking up on it.
Right.
And that would be the only, and it's like, who cares? Like, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah. I think a big part of, you know, of why they're doing it, it's like, first of all, you can't have, like, Obi-Wan hanging out with Luke this whole time.
Yeah.
Right? Because I mean,
Luke barely knows him in the start.
Yeah, he's like heard of him, and that's kind of it.
But Princess Leia does know Obi-Wan. You know, she says, you know, get this.
You were the general. You worked with my father in the Clone Wars or whatever.
Yeah.
And she doesn't really ever get to reunite with Obi-Wan in A New Hope. Like, they get rescued by Han and Luke, and then she sees Obi-Wan fighting Darth Vader and the thing, and they get on the Millennium Falcon and bounce. So, you know, they never got that reuniting scene. But, you know, I think they are focusing on making Leia a more important character because, look, we all love Carrie Fisher, and we're sad that she is gone. And, yeah, you know, I think we selfishly want a little bit more of her. So it makes sense that they're making her a bigger, more important character than she originally was.
Well, I think it makes sense that she's a more important character because, you know, she is the one who gets the plans and, like, kind of kicks it off in, you know, in the original. And Luke, you know, no one, like, again, Obi-Wan doesn't really make contact with him. He's more like, I'm off hands. Your uncle doesn't want me to talk to you, you know, like, so I'm going to respect that. I don't know. To me, it makes sense.
Yeah. And I like it. I like the tone of the show. I like the Inquisitors.
I did not know that the 5th brother, or not was it the 5th?
The guy with the mushroom hat.
Yeah, I didn't know
that. Han from Tokyo Drift.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That was some great special effects.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that's a handsome lad. And it's like, you can't tell with that makeup.
You know what's funny is he almost looks like Benedict Wong.
That's who I thought it was.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Wong is he's in 2 Marvel things or 2 Disney things. Like,
they
that's
could have
awesome.
saved a lot of makeup if they just put Wong. They're like, we're just going to spray paint your face white. But no, they got to put all this,
I honestly thought it was him. And then I was like, oh, it's the dude from Tokyo Drift. I was like, they made him look really different. But even though he hasn't got a lot of...
His voice sounds cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, even though he hasn't got a lot of screen time, I really like that character.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't get killed.
Well, eventually they all get killed, Christian, because they're not in any of the original movies. So let's... what are some other toxic fandoms that you've... or at least interactions you've heard of in the past? I know that... what's her name? Kelly Tran from Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Famously got bullied the fuck out of, and then she just like left all social media.
See, I didn't like what her character did in the movie, but I had nothing against her.
Again, like, it's a character. You know what I mean? It's like, sure, like I thought,
and that had nothing to do with like she didn't decide. You know what? I think I'm gonna do this in the movie. Like, no, there was a script. Someone told her to do it, and she did it. Like, it's fucked up how people were treating her. Like, that's terrible. You know, you can not like a character, but don't fucking hate on. Like the actor. Like, I hated fucking Joffrey in Game of Thrones.
Right.
But
that guy seems perfectly nice.
Yeah, I don't want anything to happen to that kid. Like,
right, exactly. I want him to make more stuff, but he like basically retired from acting.
Yeah, that was his last thing. He's like, I'm done.
Also, we should mention that Jake Lloyd, who played Anakin Skywalker in The Phantom Menace,
that fucked up his life.
Dude, it did.
He's been in and out of jail.
Yeah.
Face tattoos.
Yeah, doing drugs, stealing stuff. And that
shit, whatchamacallit, Jar Jar Binks, the guy almost committed suicide.
Right. And it's like, and you didn't even see him in the movie.
Yeah.
You know, it was just a computer.
It was so bad. We didn't have Twitter back then.
Yeah.
He still heard it.
People just mailed him hate mail.
You had to
they had to look him up in the phone book.
You had to get some real fucking effort. You had to put in the work to do that.
Dearest Jar Jar Binks actor.
It's like, I have a name, you piece of shit. Like,
and then you know, even John Boyega, when he first got cast in Star Wars, got a bunch of hate too.
Dude, when I saw the trailer and he was in it and he was a stormtrooper, I was like, and then they showed it with him with the lightsaber. I was like, fucking yes, like a stormtrooper that becomes a fucking Jedi is like, that's a fucking story.
Yeah, but then Disney pussed out and didn't do anything with the story.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
Some people were saying, oh, they didn't want to see a black Jedi. Oh, Samuel Jackson wasn't a fucking Jedi?
The coolest Jedi to ever live?
It's like,
are you kidding me?
I just like, I don't fucking get it. You're right. And they definitely pussied out of it. I think that would have been a great story if you took a stormtrooper, turned him into a Jedi. Like from one side to the other would have been fucking awesome. And they didn't do it.
Well, and I think, you know, like I understand why they came up with the character of Rey, but like Finn's character is so much more interesting.
Yeah.
Because, okay, he's been brainwashed since he was a little kid to be a stormtrooper. And then
something inside him fought against it.
Something inside him fought against it and made him leave the stormtrooper, but he's had all this conditioning. And so, like, what if he had this constant struggle with the light and the dark side?
Yes.
Like, what an interesting story that would have been.
The consulting company that we haven't started yet.
Damn it. But then they're like, but then they have Rey. And I mean, her story started out interesting, just like this nobody kid on a desert planet, very much like Luke Skywalker, right? But she's super powerful in the Force. And, you know, I get it. Like, a lot of people call her a Mary Sue or whatever. But, like, it would be interesting that someone who's had no training and is arguably older than Luke Skywalker was when he started his training and having to deal with that. But, again, they didn't do any of that.
Nope.
They were just like, nah, she was Palpatine's granddaughter. When he's
a clone, a daughter of a clone of
Palpatine. Yes, do it. You think that's how you had sex, Emperor Palpatine? Yes, do it. Give in to hate.
Still has a fucking robe and shit. Just cuts a hole where his
I'd
dick is.
rather just put it out through a hole I made in the robe. Yeah, I think I don't want to try to justify any of this toxic fandom, but I'd like to try to figure out why we think it happens. And I think a big part of it is that, especially with something like Star Wars, where people have grown up with it and have loved it for their entire lives, right? And I'm talking about people who are even older than us, because we grew up and then, you know, what was it, 1999? We got the prequels, right?
I think so.
So we didn't have to live that long without new Star Wars, right? It was like 12 years or 13 years or whatever it was. But think about people who the last new Star Wars movie they saw was 1983. Was that Jedi?
No. Was it? Was it in the 90s?
80.
It was 80. Yeah, 80.
No, 83. Yeah.
Yeah.
1980. I think 83 or 84 was Return of the Jedi. It's not like I have a computer with the internet on it. I'm not going to give it the satisfaction, Christian. But yeah, so from the 80s to 1999, right? You know, it's a long time. It's like 15 years, 16 years, until they had to wait to get new Star Wars. So like they've loved it for their whole life. And then in between those times, they've come up with their own stories in the Star Wars universe. And when they don't see that,
I think that's what I was the hate with the new movies, is like, that's not what I imagined in my mind. Yeah. It's like, that's not the Star Wars I know. It's like, oh, so the guy who created it doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Right.
He didn't know where he wanted it to go. You knew better. Cool.
Yeah. And as far as I'm concerned, like, you know, even with the prequel trilogies, and I know they get a lot of hate, but to me, they are George Lucas's vision.
Yeah.
It's his story to tell. Now, the prequel trilogy is a different topic because he didn't have much to do with that at all. But the first 6 Star Wars movies, in my mind, I'm like, that's Star Wars canon, and love it or hate certain parts of it, that's fine. But that is Star Wars to me at its core. But I think, you know, that's why people feel this need to lash out when they see something that they don't like. And they're definitely directing it at the wrong people. Again, Kathleen Kennedy, look her up. She's head of Lucasfilm.
I think
if you have any complaints, direct them towards her.
I think
be nice about it.
A lot of has to do with where our society is at right now.
Yep.
You know, people are pushing to have more people of color in films. People of color are starting to get in films. And then just like, unfortunately, it deals with politics. And just because our politics is like pro wrestling, someone wants something, the other side has to be completely against it for whatever reason. It's fucking stupid. So they're like, oh, this is what this side wants. I have to automatically hate it. Now I'm going to hate the person who got this show. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's what it is. It's just a lot of like, I have to act mad at whatever this person wants. And so they see a person of color and they're like, I hate it. Why? Because they like it. It's just like, that's fucking stupid. Like,
yeah, to me, and you know, there's no justification for, you know, oh, she's African American, so let's send her a bunch of hate mail. Then you're just a racist. You're not even trying to be constructive. You're not even a Star Wars fan, like Ewan McGregor says, right? But you know, you look at someone who's, you know, just gets hate for no reason, like what's her name, Kelly Tran. I think that's her name.
I believe so.
The one who played Rose in what's it called, The Last Jedi. You know, she got a bunch of hate too, but it's just because of like people hated her character. And again, like, why are you yelling at this actress? It has nothing to do with her. You know, one thing we've learned over, you know, through social media and stuff is that most actors don't have much of a personality on their own. You know what I mean? But that's why they're good actors, is they get molded by the director or the script, you know?
That's what it takes.
Is that too much of a rich?
He's gotta be like, I don't know who I am. Be this.
Tell me who I am. You're Brad Pitt. No, but who am I? You know, it's never constructive. Like, it's always just like, you suck, I hate you, I hope you die. And again, that's lazy. That's just as lazy of writing as we got in The Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker.
Right? You know, it's just as lazy to say, hey, I hate you, you suck, get out of Star Wars, right? That's just as lazy as writing a poorly developed character which is what gets us mad in the first place. So I think the challenge to anyone who loves something and then is disappointed by, some new show, movie, whatever, the challenge would be to be constructive. Hey, Moses Ingram, I don't like how, you seem to be mad for no reason. Maybe in season 2, if you're still around in the show, maybe use that to construct a character. Okay, cool. I'm sure, like, while she might not love getting that message, she's not going to hate it. Like, well, that's actually a good note from some rando on the internet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, one of the saddest parts for me is that, like, because she put out a video, I think it was on Instagram, where she had mentioned all this. I don't think she went in detail in the video, but she did say she felt in part that no one at Disney, no one at Star Wars had told her that she shouldn't address it or not talk about it, but just kind of accept it, but that she felt like she had to do that. And honestly, probably a lot of actors do feel that way. Like, dude, there's a lot of hate coming my way. I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to make any of the corporate people mad, like, by addressing it. But she did anyway, and it was the right move. And then, Ewan McGregor did the right thing, too, and also addressed it,
Yeah, and Lucasfilm or Disney eventually did, too. They released a statement on Twitter saying, like, there's over 20 million, species and races in the Star Wars universe. Why would you choose to be a racist?
Yeah, that was a pretty good one.
It's pretty good. I mean, someone could have workshopped it a little bit, but not bad, Disney, not bad for a PR team. Yeah, man, it's just it's odd to me why this keeps happening when supposedly we're making leaps and bounds, getting more accepting of people, that this is getting worse, right?
I feel like anytime as society, anytime there's any progress, there's always going to be some people that want to be against it. It's true. It's like the yin and yang, even though there's a lot of good, there's still going to be that little fucking nugget of evil somewhere, and they're going to do their best to try to hold people back.
And I think another thing too is that with social media being the driving force that it is, it's a lot easier for those people who might never have gotten heard or might never have gone through the effort of looking someone up in the phone book and writing out a letter telling them that they hate them.
Unless it was Jar Jar Binks, then
right, exactly.
Then everyone
those guys really hated him. You know what I mean?
Those guys all became PIs and shit.
Yeah, but how easy is it to pick up your phone, open up Twitter, find whoever, and say, "You suck. Stop being black." Like, I don't know what people say on there.
I don't know.
I just, when I hear like hate tweets, that's what I assume they're saying.
I'm pretty sure you're not far off. I don't know.
Yeah. So how does it get better, Christian?
We wait till they get old and die. Hopefully they don't have kids. I don't know.
Yeah, we should just start like putting something. Go to like racist. I don't know what you call it. Meetings, clan meetings, and just put like sterilization things in the water.
I don't know.
Yeah, so they just stop breeding because, hillbillies, they fuck like crazy.
I don't think hillbillies gonna know what Twitter is. Or maybe
they know. They know that they're on the Trump social media thing.
What was it called? I'm actually kind of happy.
It's called like Liberty Truth site.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
it's not gonna work.
Something stupid. Just like, listen to me. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, what we want to try to get out there on this show is, if you're upset about a show, a character, a movie, don't pick on an individual. Like, we should treat them like you treat a retail employee. And wait a minute, Middle America, Karens. Wait, let me finish this thought, because I know how you treat retail employees. But at the end of the day, if you're screaming at some poor 17-year-old kid at Target because he won't take back your VCR that you've had for 2 years,
believe it or not, he's not the CEO and doesn't make those calls.
Yeah, he has no control over that, right? You can get mad at Target. You can be like, Target, why did you sell me this faulty thing that I had for 2 years and never opened, or whatever? It's like, but it's not poor Brian who's been working there for 3 weeks And, you know, this is his first shift by himself, and you're just screaming at him.
Yeah, and believe it or not, the screaming's not going to get your money back.
Oh, yeah, definitely not. If anything, it's going to make it so you're banned from the store. So take that same mentality towards, you know, actors and actresses. They make a lot more money than Brian at Target, but they still have feelings like he does. You know, so I think that's kind of the.
I think there's a lot of things. That's a lot of things that people don't take into consideration. Is like, I think it was Howie Mandel, like where he was talking about like, oh, how'd you react? I forgot what movie. Believe it or not, he used to do movies. Had like came out.
He was in Critters, right, or Gremlins.
He was Gizmo in Gremlins. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what movie, but he said like the critics panned it and people hated it, and he was like in a massive depression like for a long time. Like people don't realize like, you know, they work hard and like they may be rich, you know, but they have fucking feelings.
Well,
like,
yeah, well, you know, look at Kelly Tran, who like I don't know what else she had been in, but I had never heard of her before she was in Star Wars. And like so you think, "Oh my god, I'm going to be like a main character in Star Wars."
Yeah.
It's a life-changing thing. And then people just shit on you from the get-go before they even saw the movie.
Yeah.
Dude, like that's super fucked. So, I mean, it's they are people too, and I think
or the kid Anakin. Can you imagine like, oh shit, I'm gonna be
I'm fucking Darth Vader.
Yeah, it's like that's it. Yeah. I fucking won the lottery,
and I played opposite Arnold Schwarzenegger in Jingle All the Way.
Fucking classic movie.
That's still how I remember the names of the reindeer for Santa. Danza, Danza, Pranza, Vixen, Comic Cupid, Donner Blitzen, Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen.
Fucking love that movie, man.
It's so good. Turbo Man. Yeah. So I guess at the end of the day, the main message is, don't be a dickhole.
Yeah.
You know, they're people too. They might have worked towards tarnishing something you love, but I think at the end of the day, we'll all be a lot happier if we just give them a pass and try to just enjoy the show or the movie or the whatever for what it is. But yeah. Any other thoughts on Kenobi? I mean, we could talk a couple little spoilers if you wanted to.
Yeah. I was hoping to see more lightsaber fights, at least up until this point. We did get a Darth. I was surprised. I was surprised that they did Obi and Darth so early. I would have thought that was towards the end.
Yeah. I thought that was I will say that it's not the epic lightsaber battle that we wanted, but maybe that's an episode 6 thing or whatever. Also, the Sith Inquisitors haven't done shit like this whole time. Like all they've done is kill civilians with their lightsabers.
Yeah, no one's flown with spinning
lightsabers.
When
he spins the thing and flies. That always didn't make sense to me. I was like, I mean, I get what you're trying to do, and the spinning handle is a cool thing, but flying with it, it's a little much. It's a fucking laser beam. How is it supposed to create lift?
I don't know. Maybe it was spinning so fast it thins out, you know, and it tilts this way.
It shoots hot air down. It's like a jet engine.
Yeah.
It's like, boiling. Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I think it is. I really wish it was a little bit more Obi-Wan focused. I want more introspection from him struggling to talk to Qui-Gon and stuff. And he does spend a lot of time, like with Leia and getting told things by Leia, which I'm not totally opposed to. I just think it's a little heavy-handed, where with him, part of what made Sir Alec Guinness, the original Obi Wan Kenobi, so good is that everything was so subtle with him.
Yeah,
and I want a little bit more of that. It feels like, and I think this is a bigger problem with current day movies and TV shows, is they feel like they have to really like force feed us what's happening.
Yeah,
where I'm like, let us figure it out a little bit. You know, what I mean?
I like that. I don't. Well, I want to see Obi-Wan like be powerful. Like we knew him in the prequels and like how we got him in Clone Wars. And I think what they're doing is him, he's not that strong on the Force anymore,
right?
Which is a cool take if you expanded on it. It's not something you can do in 6 episodes, but like, why? It makes sense that why he's losing his powers. Like he's lost faith in the Jedi Order. He saw all his friends, teachers, students die. who did it. His fucking Padawan, former, like, you know, what he felt was almost like his brother or his son. So, yeah, it takes a psychological toll, and, like, he's not feeling that strong in the Force, but they're not really expanding on it, and they're not. So, like, it's, you know, it would have been cool if we had more episodes. It can be slower. It can be more subtle, like, but, you know, it's just hard to cram it in 6 episodes. I mean,
I think one thing, too, to your point where it's like they could take more time to it to kind of expand on it. One thing that I think that they've kind of failed in the use of Leia is that, like, she's this little girl who got kidnapped, first of all, by a member of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and then
I forgot the flea was in.
Yeah, and then brought to multiple alien planets, and then recaptured by Sith Inquisitors who was, like, going to murder her. And this whole time, I mean, she's been a little like, oh no, what's going to happen? Help me, somebody. But, like, she should be terrified this entire time.
Yeah.
And it would be so cool if Obi-Wan kind of getting his mojo back by teaching her, like, hey, you have to be brave. Sometimes you have to fight.
Yeah.
And seeing, like,
that progression of
her, but also himself getting himself back, being strong for her. And so far, we haven't seen a whole lot of that dynamic.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he's doing things that he normally wouldn't do because he wants to keep her safe. But, like, let's see him psychologically, you know, boost her up, and then in turn boost himself up.
Yeah.
You know, I think that would be a better use of their relationship between the two of them. But, you know,
also I wish, but again, you can't do 6 episodes. Like,
yeah,
if they had
length is a problem in not only Marvel but in Star Wars as well.
Well, first I want to say I fucking love Flea in everything and every movie he's in.
Needles in Back to the Future,
and, like,
McFly.
You're
fired.
Every time I've heard someone talk about him, and there's, like, he's one of the nicest guys, and he's, like, super cool guy, but he always gets villain roles because he does have that face.
He looks like a fucking meth head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he seems like a very nice person, but he looks like he did a whole bunch of crack back in the 90s. But he's an incredible musician also.
The other thing I wanted to say was, like, it would have been cool, like, because Obi-Wan was so close with all the clones. Like, he had, like, clones that he trusted that were super, and, like, a little hesitance maybe even in, like, taking out these stormtroopers, because I don't think the stormtroopers are still clones, right?
No.
I think at that point they were recruiting.
No, at that point they had started recruiting and you know, taking civilians because the clones were too expensive.
Or maybe even showing, like expanding that relationship, or bringing that relationship a little bit with the clones, like, where he's, like, saddened by, like...
We saw the veteran who played by, what's his name? Tamura, the guy who plays Boba Fett. And we see, like, I don't know if you thought this was happening in the actual scene, but it looks like there's a moment of recognition where he kind of gives him a little nod and gives him the money kind of thing.
But I would have hoped, like...
Because he was wearing, I think he was wearing the colors of the 501st, which is Anakin's...
but, like, bring him along, or maybe, like, make him part of the journey, something like that. But, I don't know, there's just so much that you can do with it that you can't explore with fucking 6 episodes.
Well, one thing, too, is that I think was kind of a misstep in this one is, like, you know, we're introducing all these new characters, right? There was that new the new Jedi kid who found him on Tatooine who got killed in the first episode or whatever. The Ilaria Sands from Game of Thrones who helped him in this newest episode, the undercover Imperial. Ice Cube son, Ice Pebble.
There's a couple times where I was like, is he gonna say the N-word? I was like, no, Disney's not gonna.
They're not gonna do that. Like, they're introducing all these new characters to help him along his way, and but also these characters are so young that, like, 10 years ago they would have been, like, you know, 13. Yeah. Maybe 19, you know. It's like, oh, they all remember the general in the in the Republic Army. Okay, cool. Like, let's have him meet up with some other Jedi who escaped the temple who are hiding out, or, like, like you said, some of the veteran clone officers who, you know, like the Bad Batch guys who didn't have the chip in them, who didn't do Order 66.
Well, and there was a couple who managed it. They figured out the chip thing and they took it out beforehand.
Yeah, I think it was Rex was one of them.
I think so.
Commander Cody, unfortunately, did
the one with the white beard who was in the original movies.
Yeah, I think that's Rex.
That's Rex?
Yeah. He was they retconned it so that he was in the Battle of Endor. But yeah, you know, I would like to have seen some more of that stuff, right? You know, have him, you know, meet up with someone, someone from, Naboo or someone, you know, like we got Jimmy Smits, which is awesome. I'm glad he came back for it. But it's like we're introducing all these new characters. We're trying to build this world and, but it's like if we're doing a in-between movie with Obi Wan Kenobi, let's pull in some other people from other things that we've seen already. We don't need a bunch of new people. Like some of the Mandalorians would have been cool, you know, because he was like, I would have left the Jedi Order to be with, what was her name, Sabine?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see her and let's see him.
Oh, wait, you're talking about Obi-Wan's
love interest.
Yeah, no, Sabine was in.
She was Rebels.
She was Rebels. No, I know who you're talking about. I don't remember the character's name, but yeah, that would have been cool too. But
not Bo-Katan, but her.
Yeah, it
sister.
was. Yeah, the ones that had the conflict.
They were the two rulers of Mandalore or whatever. Yeah, bring some of them in or whatever. I just would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that, but. Hey,
see how we criticize without fucking talking shit about somee's ethnicity?
I think what we're saying is that we should have made Obi-Wan black, and Ewan McGregor should jump off a bridge. That's how you're not supposed.
That's how you're not supposed to fucking do it.
Yeah, I think everyone could learn a little bit from
us.
From us,
just
specifically.
Be like us.
Share this video, teach it in classrooms. And I think you could cut out the thing about Flea smoking crack and meth. I realize we're not palatable to a younger audience, but it's okay to criticize a show, a storyline, a character, but it's not okay to attack the individual. Bring it up to Target headquarters, not Brian at the customer service counter. Cool. Well, let us know what you guys think. Are we kind of correct in our analysis of what's going on with all these hateful tweets? What's the most toxic fandom you know of? Have we missed any? I think Star Wars got to be one of the biggest ones.
Oh, for sure.
But if there's any bigger ones out there, let us know down in the comments.
Also, help us fund this new company that we're going to start consulting.
Yeah, consulting. Yeah, we'll think of a cool name. My buddy Alex came up with a good one, but I forget what it was. I think it would be. Honestly, it would be a good service, and we could charge. Like, what if we charge like $50,000 a consultation?
Yeah.
Like,
what's that to a movie studio?
What's that to a movie studio who spend that much on craft services in a week? You know what I mean? Like, we can make it happen.
30,000 if you put us in the credits.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
40,000.
40,000. No, but if you use our little revisions, we have to give a writing credit.
Oh, for sure.
It's up to you now. Ball's in your court, Disney. But let us know what you guys think down in the comments. We do appreciate those, and we read all of them. Like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, on Stitcher, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, all the good stuff. We do appreciate that. And if you want to help support the show even more, check out patreon.com/nerdswithfriends. Helps us buy new things. Like we got a new camera, which looks like it went through the entire episode.
Yeah, there we go. We fixed it.
So, but it's not free. So, become a patron today and help us pay off the credit cards. Because the show definitely. Oh, also, I didn't tell you, but there's a Rodecaster Pro 2 now or something like that.
There you go. We need the money.
We need it. We need the new stuff.
We need the new one.
But thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Christian, as always, for keeping me honest and not racist. I value you as one of my brown friends.
Aww.
To all the nerds out there, remember, you're not alone. You're with friends. This is Nerds with Friends. Thank you and good night.